So, welcome to The Mix is Almost Perfect. I am the host, Michael Massura, and our guest today is Katie. Katie actually works with me at one of the locations that I work, and I would love to introduce her. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Katie.
Yes, I went to school for audio in college. I kind of danced around the different programs. I did studio recording for 2 years and then switched over to film for the final 2 years.
Awesome.
And now I work live, so I feel like I've done it all.
That's awesome. So one of the things we're going to be talking about is we're going to talk about women in the workplace. Tell me some, some ups, some downs that you feel, maybe some struggles that you've had in the workplace.
Yes. Now, as we all know, audio is a bit of a boys' club, but I feel like it's slowly starting to change. All the old timers, the guys who've been doing this for 30 years,
Sure.
It doesn't really seem to bother them too much. Everyone so far, at least the younger people, have been pretty respectful. For the most part, I haven't had problems, but there definitely are the few passing comments, It's like, oh boy.
Yeah, and you know what? I really do feel, especially with having a small business, there's no reason to have crude or any type of vulgar in a workplace. And I feel like there's a lot of back end kind of things that happen in our industry. Okay, so we're not talking to the clients, so we're just talking our talk, and it sometimes gets crude. And I think that's something in the workplace that all engineers and everyone in the workplace need to realize. It's just not a thing we should do. I mean, remember, we are working. We are trying to make sure everyone is comfortable in the workplace, and there's no reason to be talking about vulgar things. I mean, we're professionals. We should be set at a higher standard. And this is in all fields. I mean, you have different movements like the Me Too movement and a bunch of other things that, is a great thing. I really honestly believe that there are a lot of ups, especially with, the Me Too movement and some, things that can, I guess, upset, some people. And honestly, I think making sure everyone feels comfortable, if you're a woman, if you're a male, if you're transgender or anything, the fact is, working in our industry has been a boy club. I suppose it's pretty much. I mean, I would say, I don't know the percentages, and if I do find them, I will put them up, but there's definitely, to what I can see, at least, the place we work, what is it, like 12-1?
Right. In our district, there's only 2 other women that I know of that are on the tech level.
Yeah, and it's crazy how, things haven't changed. Why do you think not as many women like this field, or I guess aren't as interested into the field?
Yeah. I don't want to say like it hasn't been open. That's definitely not true.
No, I think there's tons of opportunity. I mean, do you feel it's more of a not that, labor intensive, not that.
Yeah, I think that definitely could be
Just,
part of it.
yeah. I know when I worked at a rec department I used to work at, it felt the same way when we were working, when I was doing building, kind of like building attendant kind of stuff, where you have to set up like tables and chairs. It was very difficult, and I know our supervisor tried very hard to get, a full, spectrum, from race to sex. One, because I think it's government standards, they try to, but it's very difficult. And then you would get people, and then they would quit like in like a month because
Right. Yeah.
it's
It can be really exhausting, especially something like that. Yeah, I
yeah.
think that's why live gets such a bad rap, because there are plenty of women engineers and sound people, in the back end of in studios and stuff. But I think live itself, yeah,
Yeah,
seeing a lighting tree get you put
mhm.
up is a pretty big turn off.
I mean, I would say, it is true. And, honestly, labor intensive stuff like, you and me, we've been doing this for a hot second. And I feel, after us doing this for a while, we want, honestly, we want some new kids off the block. You can bring the cases in, we've done
Yeah.
enough push and shove that we want
hmm
to like,
Relax.
I want to
Yeah.
take the show, and then I'm going to tell you to go move that case
Put
because
some drape up. Yeah.
put some drape up, okay? Yeah, hold on. I'll do the pointing. All right,
My
okay.
mix isn't perfect yet. You go put up the
Exactly,
trees.
exactly. So, I mean that I think is that's a huge part. Honestly, what are some ways do you think I guess in the live industry, like you were saying. So this is, you feel it's a big part in the live. What are some ways you think we can um change this in our industry? Men, um, females, everyone. Like, what are some ways you feel you have any ideas, ways that you think we can go about this?
I think more exposure, because like in college, there was so much focus on, even though there was a live department, there was so much more focus on the studio because it's way more attractive, to sell to people, so to say.
Sure.
Come to
Sure.
this school, we have this board and XYZ. Um, and there were no like opportunities to like experience it, I suppose.
So you're
They'd
saying
have
that?
the live demos and stuff to like, but it was kind of this back end thing, like, oh yeah, we have live too. It wasn't at the forefront.
Yeah, I don't know why they like, I even went to school for production, and it was Pro Tools.
hmm
And actually, it's very interesting because you're saying that there was an engineer there. Like, his specialty was live, but like he's really good at production work. And they had this huge thing out in the back, and it was like an old stage area or something. He wanted to convert it as like a small live, essentially,
Demo,
yeah,
yeah,
demo
Arrow.
for class. And there was so much push and shove, like, oh, we don't need a live department. I mean, it I get going to school for production, it carries over. It does. But different elements don't 100%. Yeah, you can EQ a voice a similar way,
hmm
but
But you don't have to deal with feedback.
that's the thing. Like, you
That's
can
the
crank it
biggest
up.
thing, yeah, without any repercussions, yeah, but no feedback, which is the hardest part of teching in an audio sense. You got this
It really
big.
is. I mean, that's essentially what we're doing. We're trying to see, can we take it? How loud can we take it to make it
Not
sound great?
blow
Can
up
we
the
push
room.
the envelope to a point where, if we need to, and then make it sound just natural and not sound mixed, naturally sounding.
Mm,
I mean, unless you're, doing like a particular band and they're like, we don't want our voices to sound natural. And I'm like, oh.
right.
But us, we're in the hospitality AV, and the idea is to try to make it as natural as possible. So,
Yeah,
so
this is gonna sound weird, but I was in college. I was part-time doing catering, and that almost prepared me more for the hospitality industry than school did, because it's.
you know what? And that was the same thing with me working for a recreation department for 16 years. I was a building attendant, a building supervisor, and I would set up tables and chairs and deal with the
Mm-hmm.
public. And I had to do trade shows later, but like, the fact is, every little thing worked in, where I was like, no, I did banquet work for like 16 years. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, and understanding, the client's going to change things the day of, they're going to
Oh
run
yeah.
over, and just learning to be okay with that and not get upset.
And you know what? And I was just talking to a couple other people about this, and I'm telling you, a good technician, a seasoned technician, I should say, a seasoned
Hmm.
technician knows when you're doing a job and things are happening, if it's just going the wrong way, or you know uh, something has changed and it needs to be done and you have an hour, well, it is what it is. Let's hustle, let's get it done. Or the board blew up. Oh, well, let's get the second board. We don't have a second board. Was it our fault? The technician itself? No, but maybe the company we work for don't have the board anymore and they decided not to bring a second board. Well, it is what it is.
Right.
It's
Or you're getting wacky interference from a police cruiser,
Yeah,
just random
for the
crap
microphone.
happens.
Yep, for the microphones. And
Hmm.
it's staying calm in a situation. And when a
Hmm.
client's like, well, what's going on? Oh, I'm working with my production manager right now, and we are actually trying to fix the problem. To be as calm as possible, but with urgency. And
Right. It's a delicate, delicate line.
oh man, it's such a delicate line. Like, I feel like when I was in school, I felt like honestly, I think engineers should have minors in psychology.
It's not a bad idea. It's true
You like
because you
that?
do need to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
because
we
we can
are.
almost tell when they're going to change something. They have this look. They're looking around. They're like, "Oh, this isn't right." You're just waiting for like, "Oh, they're going to make us change the drape to gray," or whatever it is.
Yeah. And like,
You got to
you know what?
anticipate.
Yep. And you remember, you and me actually teched a show most recently, and I'm always thinking of contingency plans. Now, it's
Hmm.
actually that was the first show I teched with you, and it was awesome. You're awesome. Like working with you is like, it's like butter. It's like
Yeah,
so nice.
I was like, "Oh yeah, I want him on my left,
Yep.
as often as possible."
Yeah. And like I was doing some video work, and you know, one of the clients wanted, a projection, and then I'm like, well, we don't know if it's gonna be conference style or just, the feed that's coming off, and we don't know. So I'm running extra cable. I'm running like
Always, so many times.
redundancy, 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 and
Hmm.
that's our industry. Like,
Yes. Because how cool do we look when they're like, "Oh, this presenter, we just heard they need to be at the podium," be like, "Oh, don't worry, line's already up there tested." Like, they're over the moon.
they're like, what?
And
I was
it's
like, yeah.
worth the extra 15 minutes it took to run and test it.
Yeah, and I think. Oh, by the way, and talking about that, I was checking out some interesting technology. I'm honestly thinking about doing it for my studio because this is very geeky. Um, I'm gonna have a segment on this. I honestly am. I'm gonna buy this one day when I have the money for it. But um, they sell. I can run network, but audio through the network. And you're like, oh yeah, no, Michael, we know that. Yeah, we all can run digital snakes. No, no, no. What happens if you want to run like RCA through a network cable 1,000 feet away, 2,000 feet away, without degradation? Well, they sell a thing for that, and it's like, so what I'm planning on doing is I'm getting my amplifier that's downstairs that actually runs through the house, that I've been kind of like adding speakers everywhere,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna be running there's a studio out on all my equipment, which is geeky as hell, but like this is branching into me running network. That is the future. I'm telling you right
Hmm.
now, to run network through everything, there's video like adapters. We
Yes, we
use
need to get some.
well, we use, like, especially for video, we use decimators, which
Yeah,
are like controllers that change, like, you know uh, it's just, there is better opportunity for network because you can run it so much longer, 300-400 feet, without
yes, and
even
it's
power.
thinner, and it clips in. It's
Clips in.
secure. Yeah,
Yep. And the same thing with audio. I mean, man, the snakes, I have to tell you, like, if you could take away everything and went analog, but you kept the snake,
the digital snake. Yeah.
the digital snake, that is the key. But anyway, hey, listen, Katie, I am really excited. Got a chance to talk to you. Um, we are definitely going to have to do this again
Oh,
because
for sure.
honestly, you know your stuff, and I'd love to have a couple segments with you. I know everyone else would love to talk more and listen to what we have to say and you have to say. So listen, everyone, if you want to check out themixisalmostperfect.com, please rate, subscribe, like. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm actually at my website, which is my blog, which is themixisalmostperfect.com, and you will get extra little content. I'm planning on doing a lot more on there, so just check it out. And then thank you so much. My name is Michael, and this is Katie, and thank you again.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.